I gotta say, I like such stories like The Man in the High Castle, but it illustrates some of the most strange, false concepts America has about a world where Nazi Germany would have won. Since I'm Austrian, I have to clarify that I'm not a particular fan of the Nazi ideology, not just because they fucked up my home, but because I simply don't see a lot of reason in it. And since I read every now and then in US anarchistic circles that the Nazis would be better than the American way of life, I have to point out that the Nazis had a saying for nationalized industry, control, regulation of social justice, and the idea that the state is not just an important part of civilization, but the most important one. Private weapon ownership was not allowed in Nazi Germany, by the way. Who wanted to have a gun at home had pretty much one single option: joining the SS. In short, I'm not a fan. So what if the Nazis would have won anyway? Well, at first the question is in the room how they would have won. Something would have to be different than it happened. There are several versions how it could happen. One is that the Nazis developed a nuclear weapon first and then the war that way. On another option, we have that Vichy France joined the Axis and actively fight the British and Americans and Russians. Another idea is that the German campaign in the east was pretty fast successful and the oil fields in the Caspian region would fall into German hands, or that England simply never went into full war. Whatever the reason, the outcome would be pretty much always the same. Germany would annex in the west some disputed areas between France and Germany. Poland, Czechia, Slovakia, Austria and so on would cease to exist. Would Germany station soldiers all over the world? Yeah, but in the same way that America and Russia did exactly that after the war. You see, after the war, in our reality, Germany was broken up, but not renamed. Greater American Empire and Western Russia on the other side both kept the name Germany, but the dominant political philosophy was pretty much dictated by the winners and accepted by the people, more or less, but executed at least by Germans. If Germany would have won the Second World War, it stands to reason that Germany, Italy and a new under Vichy France united France and Spain and so on would form some kind of fascist club. I think it is pretty likely that within the democratic states fascist movements would form up and claim some kind of role. Some parties would simply adopt certain aspects, other would be formed newly. Is a fascist America thinkable? Pretty much yes. Would it have Nazi in it? No. This fictitious American fascism would be different in some way, shape or form, such as the Italian, Spanish and German fascism is not the same, and based on their ideology cannot be the same. That's important. A pan-fascistic ideology is pretty much impossible, which is not a bad thing from my point of view. And I honestly can't tell you how it would look like, this American fascist version, although I guess that moving all the blacks to Liberia would be a part of the ideology. This lets us move to the elephant in the room. What about the Jews? Well, the Nazi party wanted them out of Germany, but not necessarily dead. The original plan was to conquer France, take Madagascar from them and move all the Jews to Madagascar. For obvious reasons. One, they can take something from the French they hold dear, move all the Jews far, far, far away, keep all their shinies, of course, and having way better PR than by killing millions of people. My point is, the Nazis would have wanted to export their ideology, of course, and would have been more or less successful with that. Perhaps not, but the idea of a German soldier on every corner on the world is silly. What they really wanted was the Elsass in the west, Lebensraum in the east. What we would have ended up with would be some kind of a United Nations with the seat within the Reich. It stands to reason that the version of fascism that allows the most freedom, and this could be indeed the American version, would become economically and therefore militarily dominant, and this would dilute fascism in the way in which communism is diluted now by China, because the system sucks and is inefficient. However, world-spanning Nazi empire is something that can only happen in Hollywood.